Hey everyone, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and I am coming to the Philadelphia area next weekend, Labor Day weekend, 2025, and I'm super excited about it because I'm coming to see some friends, meet some new friends, and hang out, perform music, and share my message as well. And this is part of the Soundpath to Freedom Music Festival, Music Freedom Festival. You might have seen me posting about this, emailing about this. Also, I did an interview recently discussing it. I'm going to be there hanging out with my friend Prezence. We're going to perform some of our music. Tatiana Moroz, so many other cool people you're about to hear about are going to be there. And I just want to, send a big invite to everybody out there. If you would like to hang out with me, if you want to hear me share some ideas in person, come to this event. This is one of 2 talks that are remaining that I'm giving in 2025 in the United States. And it might be a long time before I do any more. So I encourage you to come hang out. And to learn more about this, we are talking with my new friend, Jerry Capizzuto. How are you doing today? You are working hard behind the scenes.
Yeah, I've discovered that I actually may have a workaholic shadow. Yeah,
In the name of doing the good work, right? The great work. It's hard not to be a workaholic
absolutely.
about that sort of thing. Well, look,
Yes.
thank you for making time for me today. And as I was saying a moment ago, you had me on last week on your stream, and we shared that on some of my channels. And this has been really cool for me to kind of learn about what you guys are doing. I'll go ahead and show everybody who's watching the website right off the bat, soundpath.org, guys. Soundpath.org. Go check it out. You got 11 days from when we're recording this right now till Soundpath for Freedom to Freedom Festival starts. And what's cool about what you're doing here, and I want to give you a chance to share about this, is it is a hybrid event. And this is really cool because I didn't even really know what a hybrid event was until a couple of years ago when we first started doing what was then called the Greater Reset. It was during COVID, and it was mostly online. We did have a little bit of an in-person event, but mostly everybody was locked down. So we were lucky to get 80 people to show up in person. And I started to learn about this idea of doing both online and in-person events and sort of how to maximize that potential to reach people who maybe can't make it in person, but then also providing this really cool in-person experience. And you guys are doing something unique in that context. You have a couple of days of online things, then you have the in-person concert on the 31st that I'm going to be performing about. But why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about first yourself and what brought you to organizing the event, and then let's talk all about why you're doing this hybrid thing.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me, Derek. You've been so supportive of Soundpath and um, honestly just taking a chance on us, really. And this is our first time doing this. So yeah, my name's Jerry Capizzuto. I run soundpath.org as well as the Liberation Academy.education, which is a um, unschooling, homeschooling co-op slash private academy that has rolling admissions for this year, all online. And I also run a podcast at godislovetruthfreedom.com. So for Soundpath, yes, it's the first of its kind for humanity, a Truth and Freedom music festival that's going to be hybrid, as you mentioned, Derek. So um, I really wanted to think of ways where I could contribute as a sort of newer truth and freedom content creator to sort of, yeah, just contribute. And I've always been a musician. I've been in bands, punk bands, shoegaze bands, been a vocalist, played violin, clarinet, guitar, bass guitar, drums. I just love music. I've lived and breathed it since I was 4 years old. And originally, I was trying to just network with other musicians in the natural law sort of community. With Mark Passio, I had taken his How to Become the TrueMedia.com class, and I just networked with a bunch of students and One Great Work Network.com content creators such as yourself, Derek. And yeah, so basically, I was just networking, trying to like start a band, basically, because I'd kind of gotten sick of my shoegaze band that I was in because I was tired of singing breakup songs. I wanted to do truth and freedom lyrics. We would do run throughs, and we would never rehearse the song. So um, when I saw the freedomundernaturalllaw.com, their funnel for conference, which was, I think, entitled Care in Action, if I'm not mistaken, there were so many great musical presentations from people like Leslie Powers, Konrad Rogoz, Derrick Broze. Konrad is part of our headliner lineup on August 31st. Derrick is part of our online lineup. On August 30th, and both of them are have been amazing as organizers. Um, but yeah, so basically, I was just inspired by their music sort of themed presentations. The music during the conference was amazing. And I just really looked at myself in the mirror figuratively and asked, what is my intention with this care to action, theme? And I'm feeling really inspired by the music, and I feel so activated by it and inspired by it because um, I'm I'm a sort of jaded music festival goer. There's always something just slightly off about the lyrics, or I'm feeling the beat, but like this part's not quite doesn't quite feel right. And just as a conscious parent, I craved a family friendly venue, and as a sort of like researcher of conspiratorial topics, um, I wanted to get out of my seat and start hugging people and getting to know people and dancing with people in person. And I think it's great that we're all connecting online, but having that in-person component, I think is, you know, if we look at the pandemic and that whole depopulation agenda, and they wanted social distancing, what that means is we need to come together more, is what that means, I think. And I think this festival offers that as a great opportunity, and just gaining exposure for the populace to understand these truth and freedom concepts and natural law concepts.
I love it. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I wanted to, before we go further into the event, you mentioned Mark Passio, and most of my audience will be familiar with Mark's work, of course, and the One Great Work Network and the Funnel event. But maybe you could share a bit more before we go further on the event. Like, what does natural law mean to you, and how does that kind of play into the themes of the event? Because I see through the marketing, the promotion, this is really important to what you guys are trying to bring to the table. So could you elaborate more on what that means to you?
Absolutely. So yeah, natural law is basically a set of immutable laws that are governed by the universe. So that has nothing to do with someone creating it or thinking of it. It's basically it's it's from the universe. And basically what I like to boil it down to is not kneeling or stealing. So we have this idea of the self-defense principle. Someone's transgressing against your rights, you have a right to defend yourself. And when it comes to not stealing, what is a human, or what is a right? A right is not harming another sentient being. That can include other humans, that can include animals, and so on and so forth. So basically not murdering, stealing, assaulting, raping, trespassing, deceiving, or coercing. So as long as we're not doing those, that's basically what you have a right to do.
So do no harm and take no shit. It's one way to think. I like to think about that. Yeah, no, I love it. And I appreciate that because having been a friend and a fan of Mark's work for some years, and he also spoke at our event, I think it's important not to only have these kinds of ideas at events that are more conference-like, where there's a stage and there's speakers, but then as you're doing here, taking it beyond and making it a bit more holistic and having a space for families and kids and music and all of this, but still with these same kind of messaging behind it. And I think it's really beautiful. I want to go ahead and show everybody the website here so you can check it out again at soundpath.org. Tired of shallow events that talk about consciousness but miss deeper truth? Frustrated by mainstream festivals that lack authentic community? Well, this is the place for you. Again, it's happening the next weekend, the final weekend of August, Labor Day weekend. Tickets are on sale already, and that is for the concert that I will be there live at, as well as Prezence and some many others here. I'd love to hear more about the artists from you in a moment, but let's talk more about the whole weekend, because as we were saying, this is a hybrid thing going on. So even if we want to encourage everybody to come in person if they can, but for the folks who can't, or let's say they want more than just the one night of a concert, you guys also have this online aspect. So tell us about what's happening on Friday and Saturday leading up to the in-person concert.
This festival is a hybrid festival. So while the whole 4-day weekend is going to be live streamed, specifically on August 31st, if people want to come in person, we have tickets available for $57 each at our amazing venue, Arnold's Family Fun Center. And that is where you can get your ticket in the middle of the page or at the top. And you just click on that and you just pay through our Ticket Leap vendor. It's going to be a really fun time. And yeah, it's basically the first day, August 29th, we're going to have a sort of evening opening intention guided meditation with music from Cody Joshua and others. Saturday is all online artists, performers, presenters. And then the 31st, it's going to be a live streamed event from the in-person concert with you, 33, aka Derrick Broze, Prezence, who we're so glad that you guys both have songs together. And I'd love to hear more about any sort of stories you may have about collaborating with each other. Tatiana Moroz, we just added. Originally, she was on our online sort of lineup, but we moved her into the in-person. Brendan Daniel, I met him at Porkfest. Great guy, great human, great folk singer-songwriter. Joe Murray, he's on the onegreatworknetwork.com, has done podcasts, amazing rapper, has collaborated with amazing people like Diesel Automatic, Apophasis, indie rock duo coming out of New York. Met them through the howtobecomethitruemedia.com sort of network, if you will, of students taking that technology class with Mark Passio. LadyMaverik, I met her at a bonfire during Porkfest, and she just started singing and rapping, and I was like, I'm running a music festival for Truth and Freedom, and I want you in it. And it just took off like that. She's collaborated with Elias Clay, Diesel Automatic as well, and others. Konrad Rogoz, also on the onegreatworknetwork.com. A lot of our artists are, I would say, about maybe 50-ish% of our artists are from that network. Go check out those content creators. Konrad, is going to be performing his album called Soundpath for Soundpath. So
Very
it's going to be a really great time. And then, yeah, Monday, Labor Day, just a kind of closing panel reflection. So yeah, 4 days
Very
of
cool.
fun.
You got a lot going on there. So are the Friday and the Monday, are those going to be streamed online as well, like the group meditation and this panel?
Yes, everything's going to be live streamed online for free. It's just that if people want to join us in person for that concert, you do have to buy tickets, as we showed
Of course.
earlier. So
Yeah. So and the live stream will just be at soundpath.org. Everybody just tune
correct.
in Friday, show up. So show up Friday evening and you'll get to join in the meditation. The next day, Saturday, like you said here, you have a lineup of performers and artists. I want to talk more about them for a moment before we get into the live show. I mean, I want to mention this, of course, I'm going to be at the live show. I'm going to be here for the whole weekend, tuning in to everything online. So I really hope everybody out there who wants to come hear me perform, hang out, talk, just get to know each other, come in person so we can spend time together, but also tune into the online aspect. So right here we have all of your headliners that you just covered who are going to be performing in person. And you mentioned Prezence. Prezence is a good friend of mine. We've got 2 songs together, a third one coming soon. Tatiana I've known for over a decade now, and she's been around a lot of events doing her music. So really cool to see some friends there. And then there's a couple people who I've heard of but haven't spent any time with, and then some folks who are totally new to me. So I'm super excited about that. And just I like that you have this sort of mix of people and styles and flavors of music, and it's all on that message of natural law and raising consciousness. I really appreciate that about what you're putting here together.
Absolutely. I come from a sort of heart-based, space, and I truly want to see humanity's condition change. And I think this festival offers a great opportunity for each artist's audiences to sort of cross-pollinate, learn about, the podcast work somebody's doing, or check out another genre's truth and freedom options. So I just see just so many growth points for the freedom movement.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, actually coming together. I was just saying this to you a bit ago that, and my regular audience will know that I regularly complain about this, that we need more people in the movement out there, the freedom, truth, health, freedom, all the sort of intersecting and cross-pollinating movements to come in person to spend time together, because I think that's just, there's so much magic that happens there. And we of course appreciate all these digital tools. We've already said this, that they can do so much for us. And that's the cool part about the event, is being a hybrid element. There's going to be an online element, so you can watch from the comfort of your home or your hotel while you're in the Philly area getting ready for the Sunday night show. You can still tune in. Maybe we can get together and watch it together as a group. There's all sorts of ways to do that, but I think it's just so important to come in person. And that's where my heart really lies. I mean, I've done 3 US speaking tours, a tour of Mexico. I like to do live events because there's just, it's a deeper connection. It's more authentic. I'm always happy to do interviews and share my ideas online, but whenever I get the opportunity to come in person and hang out with like-minded people, especially in this case, for those out there who really truly understand and value the work of people like Mark Passio and the One Great Work Network and Natural Law, this is going to be your community. This is going to be your tribe. So definitely, I think this is where you want to be coming Labor Day weekend. Let's talk more about some of the online folks you've got here. You've got a bunch of people. Some I know, some I'm not familiar with as well. And so this is just going to be like scheduled talks and then performances throughout the entire day on Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday and some on Sunday. We're still getting back from artists on how long their sets are going to be. So yeah, I guess I'll just start with Colin Davis. Him and his wife who passed away, Melissa Mari, did a bunch of metal projects together, including a project called Zero One Experience or Deprogram Matrix. We'll be doing an in memoriam video that Colin made for Melissa during the festival. Joshua Hale from joshuahale.io, as well as beyondthematrix.info. He's going to be sharing a conscious DJ set. He's been helping us a lot in the background in terms of marketing strategy for the festival. Maria West from the One Great Work Network.com. She's going to be sharing her music. Azim, great rapper. Very pleased to have him. Derrick Broze brought him in. Tonic for Dogma, a rock band coming out from the Philly and Florida areas. Soul Expression, rapper, I think from Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. Raging Fire, reggae artist Kumar, great music.
There's
I'm
just
just
an abundance here. Like I'm just going to scroll down a little bit and show everybody who's on screen. And just, I mean, we could go through all of these. I want to shout out Elias Clay, who's a good friend and who I've got a song coming out with as well. And Mark Devlin, he's been around a long time. There's a lot of really good performers here. And then you also have this, if we keep going, David Rodriguez, he's a good friend of mine. Is David going to be giving an online presentation? Is that what these folks are doing here?
so Dorian's doing a dance. David's actually doing a comedy set.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But yes, the rest of them are presenters. So yeah, you, Chris Callahan, my partner St. John, who's been integral in pretty much every aspect that I'm not touching of Soundpath. So he's doing a lot of the technical sort of implementation of the festival. Matt and Terry Kibbe from Free the People, they have a great, check out their website. I met them through at Porkfest, was very impressed by their presentation on why fascists don't like art, and immediately invited them on to the festival.
Wow. Yeah, you've got a really great group here. And so again, this is happening Labor Day weekend. There's meditation Friday evening, a full day of performers and presenters that of all styles of music. If you're really just trying to get, I think, inspired, listen to some good stuff and then also hear some new ideas. That's really exciting that you have that available. And then of course, we're going to be in person on Sunday night. And I'll just share a little bit, just to tease a bit about what I want to, besides performing. I was kind of telling you this before, Jerry, that like my music and my public speaking are becoming more and more like one thing and less kind of separate, where for the most part of the last decade plus, I've been invited to speak as Derrick Broze to come share my ideas. And I'm always happy to do so, talk about my books or talk about, something to that extent, my journalism. And then as I've started to get more into doing my music as 33, doing conscious hip hop in the last 5 years, I've started to get invites to come perform my music, or to speak and to perform my music. And the more I'm doing this, especially recently, performing and traveling with Prezence, I'm just seeing how it's one thing. So whenever you guys have me scheduled, whenever it happens, it's going to be some combination of all of the above. There's going to be ideas expressed. There's going to be, my thoughts on how do we move forward as a movement, and how do we prepare for some of the things we see happening in the world, but also how do I bring music into that, and talk about the struggles of life, but also about overcoming those, and building the better world that we know is possible. This is just something that I'm super excited about. And this is going to be the first time I'm performing in a couple months after going on tour earlier this summer. So I'm excited about that. And I am going to be playing my new song, which I released about a month and a half ago, called Manifesting the Future. I'm going to be performing it live for the first time at this event. So I'm super excited to share that with everybody there. And yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for the effort that you and St. John and others behind the scenes are putting in, and making an effort, because I know how it goes to try to organize events and bring people together. As I said, I think it's one of the most important things, but it's often one of the most overlooked things, where people sort of don't understand either the work that goes into it or the necessity of why it's happening. I could just watch this from home. I could just listen to podcasts. Why should I bother, getting off the couch or, coming in person? But I think this really is it's going to be a magical time. So I'm super stoked about it. Yeah. You have any favorites? I know you named a bunch of artists there. And did you choose these all yourself, or are there any favorites that you're specifically looking for?
Yeah, so we've been doing a sort of watch party series, and we were exposing each other to artists we were into, and from that, a lot of us reached out to those artists, and we started getting responses, and so that's pretty much how the lineup came about. So it was a group effort in terms of, outreach of artists. I do want to mention Beatriz Ortega, Beatiful. She is a Spanish speaking rapper. Um, Eventually, this festival is going to have more of a worldwide reach, and I'm so glad that we have a non-English speaking performer on our lineup, because she represents the future for Soundpath. That and you're bilingual, I'm bilingual, although Beatrice's English is sort of my level of Spanish, so but we made it through the interview. But she's just I met her through howtobecomethitruemedia.com. She's a kind of up and coming artist out of Spain. I also want to mention Joey Phipps. He's more known for his esoteric research, Library of the Untold. He's a well accomplished metal musician, and he's going to be performing live Saturday night. I also want to mention Joe Double. He's a conscious rapper coming out of Georgia. His style, it has a sort of boom bop sort of like flavor, but it's like Southern. It's really interesting. So come, yeah, just so many amazing artists. Derek Retalicelli, Theo Looks, they are our part of our organizer team and also part of the lineup. So it's going to be a great show.
You've got a lot happening here. Guys, the website is soundpath.org. You've still got 9 days to get your stuff together, get you a flight or bus or whatever you need to do to come hang out in the Philly area, to get you a place to stay, come get a ticket. There's a lot you need to do, but we want to see you there. And as I said, I'm going to be there, hoping to meet some new friends. The website, soundpath.org, right at the top, you see get your ticket today. Click that. It'll open it up to the page you need to be able to be able to purchase your tickets and get it done. So don't wait, guys. I encourage you guys to get them as soon as possible, because I'm going to be there performing with Prezence. We might have some surprises in store, some things we're going to do for this audience especially. So I hope to see everybody there. It'll be a good way to spend Labor Day weekend, as opposed to sitting around or maybe just, complaining on the internet or watching podcasts you could watch anytime. Come in person and actually have some conversations about how we can change humanity and build a better world. So I really appreciate what you guys are putting in. Like I said, I know the effort, the time, the energy, the finances it takes to put on something like this. And I believe that all of our efforts will be rewarded in the long term, but I know it can be stressful and difficult. So thanks for pushing through that and making this happen for everybody who's going to be there.
Oh, thanks, Derek. That means so much. And yeah, I just want to echo your sentiments of gratitude, and also just acknowledge everything that you said about how important it is that we meet in person. During the pandemic, that was a total depopulation agenda. And what did they want? They wanted social distancing. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to come together in person. So please join us, be part of the freedom movement you want to see today.
Absolutely. And the freedom movement happens in the real world, not just on the internet. All right, guys, check it out, soundpath.org. Thank you, Jerry, for joining me today. I'll see you next weekend. And until next time, everybody, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.